G'day, legends. There was lots to catch up on this weekend. Moments before UFC Vegas 98, I think it was. Whatever. The card that just happened. We got announced about an absolutely banger card, UFC 310. Now, the card itself is just absolutely beautiful. I know there is a massive outcry from the entire MMA community. It does suck that Belal Muhammad is ducking JDM, but coming off the back of all that news does mean that Belal Muhammad is getting his name and his face back in the news again. And oh my God, I don't know if there has ever been a more hated fighter in our entire community. That is what we are going to be looking at today. It's so strange because not only has this guy been super dominant in the past, he has won nearly every fight by decision, but he's won nearly every fight. But now he's showing that he wants to try and be an active champion as well, like having fought and booked his matchup, and then he will have actually have completed that matchup like pretty much faster than every other champion in the UFC is doing, except for maybe Alex Pereira. Like, where is Weili Zhang? And still, this man is getting trashed by the entire MMA community.
Boo this man!
And it does beg the question, is he the most hated champion we have ever had in the UFC? This all started with Ilia Topuria, right? The future GOAT, doing an Instagram live, being a man of the people, just hanging out with the boys on a live stream. Based. During that live stream, he gets asked about Belal Muhammad. So let's check it out. Let's check out a little clip from that live stream.
Belal versus Shakhtar. But Belal, he's a fake champ. He's a fake. I think right now in the welterweight division, the one who will come back and will take the belt again, it's Kamaru Usman, in my opinion. Easy work for Usman.
Also says that Kamaru Usman is going to be winning his belt back. Now, just hold on a second there. There is zero chance ever that Kamaru Usman is ever going to be getting his belt back. He's too old. He has no knees. And to actually win a UFC title, you have to fight in the UFC, and he's not eligible for that anymore. He's choosing to sit out. Holy hell, that really got Belal Muhammad riled up, right? So Belal Muhammad responded, and he said, didn't this dork just buy himself a fake BMF belt to pose with? He's starting to become the Georgian version of Colby Covington. So why did Belal Muhammad lash out at our little Spanish king? It's because Ilia, he's a wise businessman, and he's already building a future fight with Islam Makhachev. He knows that when he puts down Max Holloway, I don't think he's going to knock Max Holloway out, but when he beats Max Holloway via decision, then the UFC are going to give him another crack at Alexander Volkanovski. And even though I love my boy Alexander Volkanovski, another year on the clock isn't going to improve his chances of beating Ilia Topuria. The older that Volk gets, the worse that rematch looks for him. Even though I think Alexander Volkanovski did win the first round against Ilia Topuria, I think he still has a decent chance in there, but the age thing bothers me. And Ilia is just going to be leveling up. For some reason, in combat sports, once you get yourself a belt, you level up like 20% in your skills. It's really weird. And then on top of that, Ilia is actually just entering his peak age for performance right now, where it's undeniable that the decline of Volk is here. It kills me inside, I know. But so we can see there's already 2 wins lined up for Ilia Topuria. And then if he gets one more win after that, and I hope that fight is against Diego Lopez. I want to see Diego Lopez have a crack for the title. But if that happens and Ilia Topuria wins those 3 fights, boom, boys, we can go for champ. And that puts him directly on a warpath with Islam Makhachev. So he's already started stirring the pot there to build up a little bit of hype. Ilia's thinking ahead, right? Smart. And Belal, he's protecting his boy. He's friends with Team Makhachev. He's gone and trained over in Dagestan for a little bit. So Belal's a little bit annoyed at Ilia Topuria. And with Belal having said this kicks off the absolutely stacks on Belal Muhammad. Ilia Topuria fires back. He says, no finishes, no knockouts, no knockdowns, no girlfriend, no kids. Belal Muhammad has never finished any man or woman. Which is just cold as fuck. And I don't know who said it first, but Shavkat said the exact same thing on his Twitter. And then while Conor McGregor was in Spain just doing lines and lines of cocaine over at the BKFC. He decided to jump on Belal Muhammad's back for some reason as well. I think it's because Conor McGregor, somewhere in that delusion, thinks that he can just walk back into the UFC and get a third title shot. I don't know why he thinks he can do that, but either way, Conor McGregor jumps on Belal Muhammad as well. Conor says, "I'm so sad over my June 29th fight cancellation. To think this bum is now a UFC champion with 0 knockdowns on his resume." Zero knockdowns on the resume is actually shocking, that you can be a UFC champion, not have a single knockdown. Like, I'm pretty sure Ryan Hall has a knockdown on his resume. Either way, Conor goes on, 0 knockdowns on his resume whatsoever is so bad. The UFC's most abysmal, 0 revenue generating fighter in modern history. Oh my God. So this week, you get announced as the very last pay-per-view A-side of the year, and you get absolutely shat on by the entire MMA community, man. This is what you get when you don't fight JDM. This is what happens when you duck the GOAT, mate. This is what happens, Don't mess with the JDM fans out there, because it has a butterfly effect around the entire MMA community. When everyone stacks on Belal Muhammad, it's like, rest in peace, Belal Muhammad, time of death, October 14th, 2024. I used to think that you could fix this with activity. People forget, man. People forget that back in the day, after Alexander Volkanovski, especially the second fight with Max Holloway, people really, really didn't like Alexander Volkanovski. He was booed when he used to walk out. And through his activity and his performances and how dominant he was, but more so how often he got in front of the camera, that really started to win people over. Kamaru Usman sort of suffered the same thing, but then the more dominant that he started to win and the more activity that he got, people really started to enjoy him more. It's what I like to call the Alexander Volkanovski effect, and essentially it's just the UFC is run off pay-per-views. We know this. And the more often that you can get in front of that pay-per-view audience, the more the audience can see you, the more they get to connect with you. And if you do add on some highlights in there as well, bang, superstar, easy. I don't know if that's going to work for Belal Muhammad. There's so much hatred and animosity built up to this guy coming from every goddamn direction. I don't think even him being an active champion is going to help him at this point. Especially when you've got people like, we've got great champions at the moment. You got Alex Pereira, who's just Sharma. You got Ilia Topuria, who's just out there right now, just cooking motherfuckers. Like, look how he did Max Holloway in the face-to-face. You could tell that Max Holloway was clearly annoyed by everything Ilia Topuria was saying. He just lit up Belal Muhammad. Remember the Volkanovski fight week? He did Volk absolutely dirty with that old man stuff. Volk pretending to be sleeping at the weigh-ins, and then Volk actually ended up sleeping by the end of the fight. He is lighting up everybody out there. He is the champ we need. And then you got Dricus du Plessis, who's 2 for 2 on making his opponents cry. It's just, these are the people that Belal Muhammad has to compete with at the moment. And I don't like his chances, mate. That was it. A little bit of the news that was leading into UFC Vegas that was sort of getting looked over because the actual fight card was happening. But let me know down there in the comments, do you see a future where Belal Muhammad could actually end up winning over the general MMA fan base, maybe with a couple of clean knockouts? Put it down there in the comments. If this is your first time here, welcome. I try and make an MMA video every single working day of the week. Plus, I try and go live 3 times a week where we have some pretty wild debates on the live streams. So if you want to hit that subscribe button and be part of that, that would be bloody awesome. If you're already on board with the channel and want to help me grow, the free way to do that is to just hit that like button on your way out, on the way to the next video. You're going to tap your phone today anyway. I'm sure at some point you're going to tap your phone. So might as well tap that like button on your way out. All right. Just like Grant Dawson taps his wife's ass, just tap it on the way out. And until then, you guys have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.